So today we're doing our starting screen, and we're also adding the solid block. And then if we have some time, maybe we'll get to the congratulations screen as well. Yeah. Okay, so for the solid block, we need to get that sprite. So my version is now a little bit different than yours. When you say create, it doesn't say create sprite over there. It just says create, I guess, on the newest version. You have to choose sprite off a list, I guess, now. I don't know why they changed it, but they did. So here's our new sprite. We want to call this one sprite block, and we're just going to call it solid. And then we're going to import that image. Now, the way you get to these is you go to this PC, and you'll see these extra drives down here. The one you're looking for is the S drive for the shared drive. For me, that's this one, my W drive. For you, it's the letter S. Then go into Game Design, Rainbow Reef, Chapter 6, and then finally we get to the stuff there. Yeah, let's talk about that too. Yeah, I'll show that to the class. If you did get the newest version of Game Maker, well, let's finish this. We'll grab the solid block and say open, and now we have our sprite. And then now that we have the sprite, we can create the object. You know, just it's always the same pattern. We start with the sprite, then we go to the object. We create the object. And we say object block underscore solid. So there's our solid block. And we choose that sprite we just created. So that's here. Now this is really simple. You don't have to do anything really with this block, even collision events or anything. All you have to do is say it's solid. So click on solid, and then click on parent. And just set the parent to wall, because it's going to behave just like a wall. Okay. And that's it. Let's try it. We'll put it in our room then. Here's our room. Maybe do it in room 2. Well, that one's kind of weird. So we'll go back to room 1. So I'm going to put a solid block over here. Maybe over here, and then maybe one over here. You don't want to put them too low, because if you put them too low, this pop just doesn't have enough time to respond. You know, maybe I put one here. So these are just blocks that don't go away. Let's try it and see if that's the case. When I did this the first period, it was a complete mess. Okay. I'm just trying to work my way through those blocks. Oh, no. Oink. So hopefully I can get it to hit one of the blocks. There we go. It hit the block. It didn't go away. Almost hit that time too. So boing, right? So that's all it is. It's just a wall, basically, that looks like a block. Okay. Now a lot of people are having this one problem. Let me show you the problem. If you type down here in, you say, type down in the bottom there in the little search box, and say Xbox game bar. I don't even know what that is. Anybody ever use that? Yeah. Okay, so you use that. What does it do? Oh, okay. Yeah, so this is integrated with that, but the problem is obviously the district has that shut off. So this is on by default when the operating systems get loaded. If you have that set, then it gives you that error message to install something. So you got to shut this off. If you have it on, let me show you what happens. Don't have it on, but if you do have it on, let me show you what happens. If I play the game, you get this window that pops up. Every time you you try to run one of your games. See that? You can't say okay, and then you can't see what you're doing. Okay? So this is really annoying. You can't get rid of it. The only way to get rid of it is not here inside GameMaker, but here in the settings. So just make sure that that's shut off, and then you won't get that window that comes up. Okay? Super annoying, I know. Okay, so we got that fixed. Well, fixing problems. I like fixing problems. Next we're going to be creating our starting screen. This is our first game where we have a starting screen. And we're going to have different buttons on the starting screen. We'll have a button to start the game. We'll have a button to quit the game. We'll have a button to load a saved game. We have a button to look at our high scores. And then another button to look at the help. We're going to make a help screen. Okay. So how do you make a starting room? Well, we have to create a sprite first. So here, create a new sprite. And this will be, I'm going to call this sprite title. Okay, title. And then if we go to that spot where we were last time, you can choose either one of these titles. I'm going to choose this one. You can choose the other one if you like. So here's our title. It says Super Rainbow Reef. We do want to make it transparent, though. So we do have to go in and edit it. So we'll go here. You have to be a little bit careful on this one. It's not normal. All right, so back to GameMaker then. If I can find it. There it is. So we have this. We have to edit out the background colors. You have to be a little bit more careful here, though. You do that, but you also have to get the colors that are inside the circles if that was a different color. But it looks like it was the same background color, so I think we're okay. So that's what it looks like. It's a little bit small for our window, but we'll fix that once we get there. Okay, so that's our title. We're going to have to make a title object. I couldn't figure out how to get the sprite on it without making an object. So we're going to have to create a title object as well. So here, obj_title. And we'll choose our title sprite. Here's title. All right. It doesn't have to have anything really on it. But we do need to make a title room. This is going to be our first room, but we want this room to be the first one on our list here. The order in which the rooms are executed is based on this list. So here I would say right-click and say Create Room. Now this isn't really a playing room, so we don't have to really worry about much of anything. We do probably want to keep the screen size the same, so we'll say 800 by 600. Using the old aspect ratio, in case somebody's playing on an older box. So change that, and then on your background layer, if you can click on the background layer, change the background color to something that looks like ocean water, I suppose. That would be kind of bluish. Yeah, question? Yeah, you could do that. That's a good idea too. I was just going to do a color. But so here's a color. Looks kind of blue. You say OK. So there's our background. And now we can take our title and just drag it over there. But we can't. It's an object, so we have to be on the instances layer. See that? That's where objects go. And you put that there. Super Rainbow Reef. Yay. Try to center it so it looks nice. All right. Now, what we want to do is add 5 buttons to the bottom of the screens here. We need a button to start the game. We need a button to quit the game. We need a button to load a saved game. We need a button to look at the high scores. We need a button to take us to the help screen. So let's do that. Well, first we have to make a lot of sprites, right? So this is the tedious part, and this is a part of programming that I really don't like. I just call it plumbing. You're just naming things, you're creating them. So we're going to say sprite button start. So this is our start button, and we'll import that. You can see start is right here. And then we'll create the others. We've got 4 more to go, so sprite button, I guess we'll do quit next. And then you import the quit one there. Question? Yeah, ours is a little bit different. We changed the room size to 800 by 600. So that's why it's a little bit different. Okay, so that's the quit button. So now we have that. We're slowly adding our buttons. Next would be sprite button scores. And this would be, they click on it and you see a table that has all their high scores in it. Problem is, that was the old version of GameMaker that had that functionality. In this new version, there isn't actually anything to do that. So if we're going to do that, we're going to have to write it ourselves. When I say write it ourselves, I mean me write it and have everyone copy it, because it's too hard. Well, there might be a few people in here who could do it, but it's a challenge. So I know what I'm doing over the break. Do they have computers in Mexico? I don't know. I think they do. That's just a joke. I'm actually from Mexico. So. All right. Next, we've got 2 more. Sprite button. Let's see. Did we do scores? We got start, quit, scores. Okay, so we need help. This is our help button. And then and our last one is our load button. Now, if you have a load button, that kind of implies that you can save the game somewhere, right? You're trying to load a save game, so this is button load, and we'll import that there. Okay. So that tedious job is over, right? We got all our buttons now. But in order to use them in our game, we have to make them into objects just like everything else. So we have to make objects for them as well. Okay, so let's do those. Well, we're getting a lot of objects in this simple game, it seems. Create object. Hey, if your phone's playing and making noise, you need to shut that off, because I'll get on the recording. Yeah, just a little bit loud. Okay, so object button. We'll use our same naming convention. Object button start. We use our sprite that we just created. There's our start button. And that looks pretty good. We'll give it some behavior in a second, but here, let's finish these objects then. Object button quit, I guess. These are the 2 easiest ones to implement. When I mean implement, these are the 2 easiest ones to code. One you just end the game, the other one you just go to the next room, pretty much. So, again, we're just making objects for each of the buttons. Create object. Let's do the help button next. obj underscore button help. Am I following my naming convention? Yes, I am. Here's our help button. Two more to go. Object button scores. This should show us our high scores when we click on it. But again, I have no idea how we're going to do that. But I don't even know how we're going to store our high scores yet. So we've got work to do. And then lastly, finally, we get to the last button. And that's the, which one? The load button. Remember, the load button is what you use to load a save game. So now we have all our buttons, and now we can put our buttons in our room. So here's our room. It's kind of blah. You're right. It needs that background, doesn't it? But anyway, we might do that later. So I'm thinking the first button we need is the start button. That's the one people are going to look for. So I would do the start button first. And then I do load. Because maybe if you're not starting, but you are loading a save game, maybe you do that one more often. And then here's our scores, if you want to see your high scores. And then your help button is here, maybe. And your quit button is last. Okay? So you have a nice menu there. It looks like it's centered. It doesn't look so bad. So all we did is just create sprites for the buttons and then create the buttons, drag them on. Made another room, put a background on it, background color at least, and then Super Rainbow Reef. If you want, you can actually change the background to a picture. So we already have which one in our sprites? We've got this one. So maybe that looks nicer. So then you can go down here and reuse it on this screen as well. So say that. Notice that it doesn't cover the whole screen, so you have to stretch it. So you have to click on stretch. And then it looks kind of nice. So you're right about that, Devin. That looks better. Okay? All right. So now we have our starting screen, but our problem is when we play the game, this isn't the first screen. It's the third screen. Oops. Right? Okay, so if I go to, see, that's not the starting screen. Somehow that room didn't get registered. Why is that? Oh, because there's no controller on it. That's why. Oh, I see. Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, so we have another problem, but we'll solve that problem when we get there. So here maybe we want to drag this one up. Now, dragging rooms around on this list is a real pain in the keister, okay? If you take a look at this, watch what happens when we drag it. We get to that first one. It's shaded one way, and it's shaded another way, and then shaded a different way. It's that third way that is what you want, okay? That will actually move it, okay? If you don't do it right, what happens is it asks you this question, this. Are you sure you want to set room 0 as the room inherited parent of the... No, you don't want to do that, okay? I'm just trying to change its position. So again, if you want to change a room's position, you click on it, and then you drag it. It has one shading. Drag it again, it has another shading. And then when it's just shaded at the top, then it will switch it. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, in the new one? Yeah, because they've changed this a bit. So I don't know. In the new version, all bets are off. Yeah, not everybody has the new version. So, okay. Yeah. So we're gonna have to play around with that because the functionality changed between versions as well. Okay. So now it's room 1. I want to play the game, so I'm going to play the game. It gives me the start screen. But again, none of these buttons are active, right? There's no controller. You hit start, nothing happens. You hit load, nothing happens. Nothing happens, okay? So how do you get the start button to work? Well, this is kind of strange. If you go to the start button, there's a command. There's an event that we haven't used before. So we're going to add that event to the start button, and this one has to do with the mouse. See the mouse there? The one we want is called left pressed. So when the left mouse button is pressed while it's hovering over the start button, that's basically what you're saying. What should happen? Well, you just go to the next room because the next room is the first level of our game, right? Now we're not going to check to see if there's a next room. We're going to assume that you made a game that has at least one room in it. So there's no need to check for that. Okay. So let's see if that works. I'm going to say go here and then click on the start button and see if we go to the next room. So I click start. Oh, look. I win. What do you notice, though? I should have won the game by now, right? Because all the squids are gone. And then it crashes, okay? What happened there? Anybody know why did my game crash and it didn't notice I was at the end of the game? Well, I changed the order of the rooms, right? Remember, our controller is persistent. It's only in the first room. But now the first room is the last room. And so we've got our room order messed up. Okay, so this one has to come first before this one because that's the one that has the controller in it. Without the controller, when it goes and checks for lives, it can't see it. And a lot of other problems. And then when pop falls out of the room, the last pop, it crashes. Okay? Okay, so now it should work correctly because I have my rooms in the right order. Yeah. Okay, so let's go back. Yeah, so just go to Object Button Start. Are you talking about your room order? Yeah, I'll have to come over and help you. Let me finish this part first, though. So let me finish this up, and then I'll come over and help. Okay, so the other one that's really easy is the quit button, because you just want to quit. Now, I'm not one of those people that has to be handheld when I'm using a computer. Those screens that come up, are you sure you want to quit? And you say, yes. Are you really sure you want to quit? Well, I hit the quit button. Usually when people hit the quit button, they want to quit. You know, so I get tired of those kind of things. So just quit, you know. Just assume that the player knows what they're doing. Okay, so here we're in the quit button. Again, we're going to do a mouse left pressed event. So what's the actions we want to take? Well, it's this one, exit game. So if you type in exit up here, you'll get something like that. And that will just dump them back out onto the desktop, I guess. Let's see if that works. Yeah, that's fine. Let's hurry back. Okay, so we're testing our quit button to see if we actually quit. Quit. Yeah, it worked. So those two are relatively easy, right? You can start the game, you can quit the game. The next one that's relatively easy is the help button. What we want to do is bring up a little screen that tells the player how to play the game. Okay, so So how would we do that? I would yeah, so we're going to create a new room, okay? We're going to create a new room. Actually, let's duplicate room 1. Just say, right-click on it and say duplicate. Is that in the new version of GameMaker, I wonder? Okay. So just say duplicate. And it puts it right afterwards. So now we have 2 of these. And what I would do is I would go to the second one and take out all the buttons. And we want to tell the user how to play this game. Now things we have to say are like, use the arrow keys to move the paddle back and forth. Press the letter H to get this help. So they can bring this help screen up anywhere in the game. Press the letter S key to save a game. Okay. Anything else they might need to know? I can't think of anything. Well, how do you put text on the screen is the question. There's these tile sets, there's sounds, there's paths, there's scripts, there's shaders. Where's text? I just want a text box. There's notes, but that doesn't work. I looked at that earlier. So what do? How do you write text on your screen? Well, I think what we have to do is we have to make a sprite and then use the sprite editor to put the text in. So we'll say create sprite. And this sprite's going to be really strange. We're going to change the size of it. And we're going to make it, that's the scale. Resize the canvas. We're going to say 800 by 600. We're going to make this sprite the same size as the screen. Surprisingly. Say apply. Now it's really big. Now we don't have a way to edit the sprite here, but we can go into edit image here. And we'll do that. Now since our background is relatively light, okay, what we can do is we want to choose black as our color. And then we can use here the text tool. And we're going to write the text here on our screen. Let me zoom out a bit so we can see it. Okay, so there's our screen. I'm going to just start writing here. Ooh, that's too small. So you can go up here and change the size of your text. Let's go like 24. That's our text size. Oh, there we go. Okay, so here we can say use the arrow keys, move the paddle. Okay, use the arrow keys to move the paddle. That's cool. Press the H key to get this help screen. And then the other thing you might say is press the S key to save your game. Okay? But again, this looks really kind of terrible because it's not centered. Once you type it in, you can't move it around easily. But what you can do is a Bitmap Editor. So what you can do is cut the text out and then move it after you cut it. And again, what you're doing is you're just using the selection box, clicking and dragging. And then you can scoot it over to make it look kind of centered. So I'm just using the selection box to move all these pixels. They happen to be text, but you can do that with anything really. And I'm just trying to make them look kind of centered and kind of well spaced. Let's see what that looks like. Yeah, it looks okay. Okay, so that's our sprite. It's transparent, so that background's going to show through. Again, I haven't figured out a way to put a sprite directly on a background, so we're going to have to, I guess we could have edited it into the background, but we're going to make an object then. Let's give this sprite a name, though. We'll call this sprite, help text. So we'll do that. So now we have our help text sprite. It's really big. And now we can go create our help text object. Object obj underscore help text. Right. And then we'll choose our sprite. We know it fills the whole screen because we made it that big. Here's our help text. Can't really see it, but it's there. And now we can go to our room, our help text room, and take our help text, drag it on, like that. Okay. So I made a sprite that had the help text. The background was transparent. I can now, in my second room, I can do this. So if they hit the help key, this is where we want to go. So how would you, now that we have our help room, I guess, how would you make the button work? Well, if they hit the help button, this is our room, room 2.1. We could rename this to button, let's say 02 help. Okay. Maybe you can say room 2. 02 help underscore room. So this is our help room. If it's sorting alphabetically, if you put the number 02, you number all the letters, rooms, you can get them in the right order. Here's our starting screen, right? Uh-oh. You can't have underscores, evidently. So we'll just call it room help then. Help. So that's our help room. We can put numbers in there, though. So I do want to put those numbers in. So 02 room help. Maybe like that. It says invalid name contains invalid characters, 02 room help. Should only contain 0 through 9, A through Z, or underscore, and not start with a 0 or 9. Oh, you can't start with a number. Oh, that's the problem. Oh, that's terrible. So that means, what does that mean? You have to put your number in the middle. So you have to say room. That's why they're doing it this way. 02, help. Okay. Yeah, what they're telling you is identifiers in GameMaker can't start with a number. They have to start with a letter. So we can't start with numbers. So we have to do it that way. Okay, so there's our room. So how do we get there? Well, that's when they click the help button, right? So we go to our help button. And this one we haven't used yet, this one command. Say add event, mouse left press. We've done that before, but what do we do when they press it? Well, we want to go to a very specific room. So we say room, let's say. And you want to go to this room. Go to room. Go to a specific room. We actually want to go to the next room, which is the help. This is the help room, right? But realize, though, that breaks our start button. So here, we're going to assume that our help room is always going to be the room after the menu, the start menu room. So we're just going to say, go to the next room. But of course, we have to fix it now because our start button also goes to the next room, and we want to actually start the game then. Okay. So we have to go back to our start button then. Here's our start button. We can't go to the next room because the next room is the help room, right? So we got to delete that. What do we replace it with? Well, we want to go to a specific room. So we could say room, again, and the one we want is go to this room. Go to room, but we have to tell it which room. And we want to go from the start room to room 0, which is our first room in the game, after the help room. Okay? So it's like you can jump over a room if you like. Okay. So let's see if that works. If I run it, it's not running. There it is. If I say start, it went to the first room. Yay. So that worked. If we try it again, this time I'm going to say help. My hope is that when we say help, we get to the help room. Hey, hey. But now what? You're stuck here, right? Because we don't have a way to say, okay, press any key to go to the next room. Oops. Okay. So we can't do anything here. We can't get out of here. We need a way to get out of there. So what we can do, we have this object, right? This is an object, so we can make it do something. So in this help room, we could also add this. Say key pressed. Hey guys, you're back. Cool.
The rehearsal ended really early.
Oh, early. When's the show?
Tonight at 7.
Oh, tonight, yes, band. Okay, so we do a key press, but we're going to say any key. Okay. So we haven't done that before. You want to use any key to go to the next room. Well, that will just take us to the next room. So then you go to the next room. We know there's a next room because it would be silly, again, to have a game that has no levels. So we're going to assume there's a room there. Yeah?
But if you press H to go to a help room, then don't you just want to go back to the previous room?
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Like if you're on the 9th level or the next room.
Oh, yeah, that's a good point. So maybe it's not the next room. We want to go back to the room you were on. Yeah, it's the previous room, but it's previous usually means previous in the game, not the one you were just on. So how are we gonna do this? Okay, that's a big problem. Like that's a really sharp mind figuring that out. Okay, so let's just do it this way for now, and then I'll have to come up with a solution. I haven't really thought of that. That's a problem. Okay, so we'll just go to the next room. Go to the next room. Right now, the only way we can get to help, because we haven't even put any key presses in, is from that help button. So we should be safe for now, but we'll have to see. So let's try it and see if it works. It takes a while to build. Okay, so here I say help. It takes us here. You might want to say here, press any key to continue. Okay, but I'm clicking. It's not doing anything. They might press the key. I'm pressing a key. It's not doing anything. I'm pressing a key. That didn't seem to work. Where did I put that? This is on. Oh yeah, I see. Yeah, this is in the wrong place. I put it on the help button. It's supposed to be on our help text. So I would cut this event. And you want to put it over here, help text. Remember, it takes up the whole room, so I'll paste it. Oh, look at that. That is ugly. Yeah, so cut and paste doesn't really work because it pastes in GML. It doesn't paste it in drag and drop. So let's add an action there. Oh, wow. Okay, I'm just going to delete it and recreate it. So sorry for the confusion. So we're going to add that key press event in again. I was trying to save some time. That never works. And we want to say any key. If they hit any key, then go to the next room. Okay, let's see if that works. So I say help, takes us here. I press any key, and I'm in the first room. But again, we have a potential problem there, right? Ooh, I got up there. Let's see if our end game works. Okay, snarky message. Okay, so we've got start working. Well, do we have start working? Yes, we do have start working. Yeah, so starts working, we have quit working, we have help working, but the next two are kind of hard, right? If we go back to our room here, our start room, we've got these two here are rather difficult. Load, which implies that we're going to be able to save games, and then scores, to show your high score and keep a top 10. That's going to be really hard. That used to be in Game Maker automatically, now they've taken it out. It seems like anything that's really hard, they take out instead of redoing. They just kind of bail. What you might do in your help text, in your sprite at least, is you might do this. Just to be clear, you could add some more text here. Say edit. Here's our image. We choose text. It remembered our text size. That's good. So maybe drag this on and just say press any key to continue. Now what's funny here is some people actually look for a key called any. Where's the any key? I can't find it. So you have to be careful for really not so smart players. They might look for an any key. Where's the any key? Okay. And now we've got 3 of those buttons working. That's good. I have no idea how to solve the other 2. I have to work on that over the break, I guess. Since we're at it, we'll do our congratulation rooms as well. Okay. Yeah, we have a problem there though. Our controller is persistent, right? So our controller is going to still be active in that last room. So maybe there's a way to get rid of it. But let's do our congratulations screen. To do that, we need a sprite. This is our last sprite, I think, that we import. Let's go find it. Here it says congratulations. Takes up the whole screen, so that's all you need. Maybe we can make this a background. Then the room doesn't have anything in it. Congratulations, yay. And notice the size of 640 by 480. Let's make a congratulation object now. Yeah, question? Yeah, it's fine. We're almost out of time though. When does this class end? 54? Yeah, I think so. Okay, so object, congrats. So it's saying congratulations. They finished all the levels. They win the game. Oh, this is a problem. Well, maybe it's not. So when we get here, we have to decide what we're going to do. For now, let's just get it into a room. So again, I'm going to make another room here. I'm just going to say create room. See where it creates it, right there. Okay. And again, here maybe we make this room smaller. We make it 640 by 480 because that's the size of our sprite. Hopefully that doesn't cause problems. And then we can drag that our congratulations object, and it'll fill up the whole screen. Okay. Oh, not quite. Maybe I'm off by a bit. There we go. Fills up the whole screen. And they win. Well, let's see if that works. I'm going to play the game and try it. Yeah, that's another way. The reason I didn't is because we have our problem with the controller, right? The controller's persistent. We're never going to see this last room because it's going to try to go to the next room if there is one, and there isn't one, because the controller's trying the whole time. So I'm not sure what's going to happen here, but it's going to be a mess, I'm thinking. So let me just start it. Let me see if I can get through this game. I should make this first level easier. Because now you're testing room, basically room navigation. Almost, oops. Oh, almost. There we go. Okay. So here's the second room, but I have a feeling we're not going to see the last room. Yeah, we don't see it. So why didn't we see it, even though it's sitting right there? It's because there's no squids in this room. The controller's active. It doesn't see anything. So it tells you you've won because there's no squids and there's no next room. So we're going to have to fix that problem too. But for now, we're going to have to leave it like that. So that's enough for today. We got the buttons in. We've got the start screen kind of working. We still got to work on this ending thing. We have to work on our load. We have to work on saving. How do we save a game? And then high scores, if we're going to do them or not. We have to decide. But that's where we're at right now. All right. Thanks, everyone.